G'day everyone, it's Adam from Oz Commercial Sewing Machines. It was brought to my attention this morning that one of our machines, one of our overlockers, the machine's not performing well. So when I've ran a bit of fabric through, you can see that it's not cutting well at all. It's not even cutting the chain. You can see there the edge is terrible, looking terrible. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the procedure of changing both of our blades today. We're going to replace our stationary blade and our moving blade and set them correctly without adjusting or changing our stitch width. You don't want to be resetting your blades and then find that your stitch width has changed and then your stitch doesn't, or the edge of your stitch doesn't look correct. So we're going to go through the correct procedure. We're going to do that. This procedure is actually the same as what it is on most overlockers, but it's specifically the same as the Jack series of machines, the E4, C4, C5, as all those parts will actually go straight onto this machine. They're identical. So we'll go through the procedures, we'll set them correctly, and then we'll do a test sew at the end. Okay, so as you've seen in the sample, our machine's not cutting that well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our blades out. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen off this top blade, the moving blade frame. I'm going to move that out a little bit, and that gives us a bit of room to remove our blades, or give us a bit of clearance. The top blade on this particular one is a 7mm. Yours might be different, or you can use a screwdriver. This nut has, this bolt rather, has a washer on it. Okay, so take that out, and we'll take out our bottom one. In this particular machine, it's an 8mm. Okay, so as you can see with our blades, with most industrial overlocker blades, we have a steel blade, and then we also have a tungsten blade. The top blade's generally tungsten. As you can see there, the line there on the hard surface. This surface is obviously very hard, and it's unusual that wears. It will get chips if you run over pins or anything hard. The bottom blade, however, is more the sacrificial blade. Generally one of those come in your accessory kit, especially with the Pro-Sew machines, and also as far as with the Jack machines as well. But today we're going to, we can see the top blade's fine. There's no edges, there's no sharp, there's no nicks rather out of it on the edge. So we'll just replace our bottom blade. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to do a reversal. We're going to put our bottom blade in. From this angle it may be a little bit difficult to see. Okay. Now the aim here is to get the blade so that it's just, you really just want it to be flush with the needle plate. If it's too high, it could get caught up on the fabric and cause an obstruction. So we'll just get it to there, we'll nip it up. Okay, doesn't this use our top blade or something. Don't want to put too much pressure on it, just want to get it so it's level. Wrong spanner. Okay, so it ensures that it's level with the plate. We'll nip that up, we'll double check it. It feels good, so we'll nip that up there. Okay, put our top blade in. Make sure it's orientated correctly. Now when we're setting our top blade, we want to make sure that there's the correct amount of overlap. So ideally, we want this tip of our blade here to make sure that it overlaps the bottom blade by just a 0.5 mm, or just enough so that it overlaps. Obviously over speed to under speed, that will transfer a little bit further, but we just want it to overlap a bit so we can check it there. We'll drop our blade to the bottom dead center and we can lift it up. Okay. Use our screwdriver to nip it up, and then we'll use our spanner to get it nice and tight. Okay, check our overlap again. Yep, okay. Okay, now the next thing we have to do is we have to reset our top blade across. Now the difference with the top and the bottom blade holders is that the top one is just manually adjusted. The bottom one is spring loaded. Now I don't know if I can get you in here, guys, but there's actually, I'll actually show you a shot after I've set this on where you can adjust it, but there's a screw underneath here that adjusts your blade block, and it's spring loaded. So what we're going to do first, when our blade is at the top dead center, we're going to move that back across so the two blades are touching again. You see that's just quite loose. We'll bring it across so that's a bit of firm pressure on there, and then just nip that up. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to go in and we're going to, I'll show you a screw, I'll bring you down and show you the screw down here. We're going to loosen that off, and we're going to use the spring pressure that's already in this lower carriage here to apply the correct amount of pressure so our blades are pinched together at the correct amount. So I'll show you that now. Okay, so you can see the screw I was talking about here. One there. We'll loosen that off. Now you'll see that I can move this whole carriage. You can actually see it moving away from the moving blade. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our moving blade, or our top blade, to top dead center. We're going to allow that blade to spring across. We're going to apply a little bit of pressure in here. Not indifferent to a pair of scissors. We wanted them to be have a little bit of friction between them. We don't want to put too much pressure on here, because if you put too much, then what can happen is, as the machine, especially machines like this that do 7,000 stitches a minute, the blades can get very hot and they will blue, and then you'll lose your the quality and the edge of your blade. So be careful you don't apply too much pressure. You want just enough so that it's cutting crisply and cleanly. And we'll make sure we lock this screw up really well, and then we'll do a test sew. Okay, so we're going to now set our lower blade. I'm going to loosen this screw down here. I'm going to make sure that our blade's springing. We're going to make sure that our moving blade, or our top blade, is at top dead center. Now we can use a separate screwdriver between the body of the machine and that blade holder, and we're going to apply a little bit of pressure so that there's a little bit of pinch between them when we tighten up this screw. Okay, now best way to test is with our bit of chain again. Okay, you can see that's cut really cleanly. If that didn't cut cleanly like that, just repeat the process. Bring the blade back up, loosen the screw again, put a little bit more pressure than you did in the previous setting until you get the blades to cut very cleanly. Just be sure not to have too much pressure there so that you don't overheat your blades when the machine's running at high speed. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get everything set back up. We're going to get the machine ready, and we're going to give it a test sew and see how she looks. Okay, our machine's ready to go. So we're just going to give it a test sew and see how our blades are performing. This machine, I'm just going to change to semi-automatic mode. Makes life a bit easier. Okay, that's looking great. You can see that all right. Okay, another thing we might bring up too is adjusting the blade width. I might do that in another video shortly, so we can adjust this to suit when you're doing different fabrics. But that's pretty successful, guys. The machine's cutting much better than it was before. Follow those steps, take your time. If it doesn't cut properly after you've done it the first time, then apply a bit more pressure and try again. Guys, if you really like these videos, give it the thumbs up. We need some more subscribers. About 92% of you still haven't subscribed. This is all useful information, guys. We're not trying to flog anything. We're just trying to share a bit of knowledge. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon, and we'll see you in the next vid. See ya.